Hello, everybody. You are here on YouTube, Facebook, whatever. I'll tell you about that stuff later. And you're watching Southeast Iowa Sports Talk. We're live, as we always are, on Wednesdays at 2 o'clock, and maybe not next week. We'll get into that a little later. I'm here. I'm Andy Krutzinger, your co-host. Well, my other co-host, Hunter Moeller. How's it going, Hunter?
It's pretty good, man.
Pretty good. He's got Chiefs, no Hawkeyes today, so we always try and keep. I should have a
They got to win, though. Hey, they beat Northwestern. I was a little scared.
That's right. I was on the road. I drove right by Iowa City, coming back from state cross country.
They got it done there.
Yep, comfortable win. And then Nick Steffens on the ones and twos, running things straight up, only up. We are on Washington Live's YouTube, Washington Live's Facebook, Mount Pleasant Live's Facebook, and Fairfield Live's Facebook, and Spotify at Washington Live, where you can watch or listen. So that was probably the best I've ever done at that little thing right there. And I call the Southeast Iowa Union Sports Talk, not Sports Talk Live, which is technically not called, even though we call it all the time.
Right.
Anyway, we're going to talk a little bit of playoff football, state cross country, sub-state, regional final volleyball. It's a very postseason-esque show today. A lot on the line today.
Yeah, we've got, season's winding down here. Obviously, we'll get into a little bit of volleyball. All our teams their seasons are over, but we still got some football teams left, and you had a big week state cross country, so.
Maybe that's why my back hurts. I was complaining about my back.
Yeah.
My back hurts. I broke my ribs in college and then didn't go to the doctor. And basically, I got jacked up ribs. And I did drive a lot to go to Fort Dodge and back. Maybe that's why my back hurts. I just have to focus on not breathing too much, and then it'll be okay. But anyway, that's
not good.
that's nor you know.
Make sure you're breathing.
Yeah, we're going to talk a little bit about short little breaths. We got to talk a little bit about some football. And Hunter, you were at the Wayland, Iowa, beautiful Wayland, Iowa, which is the football capital of the world as far as I'm concerned. Tell me what you saw on Friday night in that round of 16 matchup.
Yeah, so, Waco taking on Central City. Warriors still searching for a shot at the Dome, and, well, they're going to get it, this Thursday. But they took on Central City last Friday night. Once again, same story. Another week, same story for Waco. Dominant performance, 48-12 win. Waco really had no problem. They led 21-6 after one. Simeon Reichenbach and Loudenhausen Gate found the end zone in that first half, and Isaac Oswald hit Olaf Shevchenko for a touchdown in that first half as well. Central City was able to get in the end zone in the final minute there of the second quarter, but Reichenbach took over in the third, scored 24 points. All Reichenbach. He opened the half with about a 50-yard return. He ended up punching it in from about 10 yards out later. He followed that up with a 35-yard field goal. Some people don't know that kid's got a boot on him.
Yeah, he does.
He hit the 35-yard field goal, and then next drive made a defensive stop. A lot of they're just as good on both sides of the ball.
Yeah.
So that's what's most dangerous about him. He took a 39-yard touchdown. He juked to past a couple defenders, spun past another one, got another touchdown on his belt. And then next defensive possession, he took a pick six back to the house. So it really was his show in the third quarter. And then he ended the scoring with a 23-yard field goal, and that was pretty much all she wrote. Central City was able to score late in the game, but by that time, the damage had been done, and it was all Waco. And Reichenbach finished with 151 yards, 3 touchdowns. He also had 45 yards receiving, and then the 2 field goals, as I mentioned. Isaac Oswald, 89 yards. I believe he went 9 for 13, so didn't pass a lot, didn't need to, but efficient. Mason Miller had 23 yards receiving, and Shevchenko had 17 yards. And on the defensive side, Waco allowed just 140 yards rushing and 63 pass yards. And coming into this game, Central City was averaging almost 45 yards or 45 points a game. So, what more can you say about Waco? And they've got a big matchup this Thursday against Montezuma team that's probably feeling pretty good about taking down a pretty good Easton Valley team.
Off the top of your head, you might know this already, but how many interceptions do you think Mason Miller has this year and last year combined?
Combined?
Yeah. Give me a guess.
Well, I think he has, 9 this year so far. And last year, I know he led the state.
Yeah.
It's got to be like 25, right?
He's got 8 this year, 9. Yeah, he has 17 over 2, 17 and counting. And I was watching, I was watching a little bit of Montezuma, who they had a comeback win. They'll be playing Waco. It's an unranked team. They've lost to Iowa Valley, also beat Iowa Valley, and then lost to Southeast Warren. Yep. So they've got some teams with Waco, whatever you call them. What do you call it when you have both? You both played them. mutual
yeah,
opponents. And they sling the ball. I mean, they get a shotgun and they throw it deep. So Waco's defensive backs will have a challenge, and it might be a chance for some ball hawking a little bit.
Yeah, well, I don't know why they just keep throwing that way. And it's not even just him. Like, I think as a team, I remember the statistic I wrote in the story. It's either they have 23 or 25 interceptions, or no, I think it's 30 as a team.
They have 30 takeaways. 30 takeaways.
You might as well just not, pass against them. And, that's kind of the thing is, we see these teams that are, Waco hasn't ran into a team that's as big as them.
Uh-huh.
Like, if you look at their team, like, even like on the, watching it on YouTube or whatever, like, they just look like bigger kids out there, like against their opponents. Even against Central City, I was there with a buddy, and I was like, you see how big they are compared to them? It's like,
yeah.
I don't know, but
that weight room right by the school.
Yeah,
you know what happened if I had a weight room right by. You know what happened if I had a weight room right by my house? I'd look exactly like I do right now. Anyway, so that game's on Thursday. So you Waco fans, don't you be showing up Friday night at 7 o'clock because it's all over by that time. Thursday night at 7 o'clock.
Yeah.
If they win, Waco will play on Wednesday about the time the show usually goes on. Yep. We don't know what we're going to do, so stay tuned. If Waco wins,
Twitter.
Figure it out. Figure out what we're doing. Maybe we'll be driving along or sitting at the game. I don't know. Or have it at a different time. Just so everyone knows, there's a scheduling conflict potential if Waco Mania runs wild on Thursday night. So
yeah, it should be good. Should be a pretty good game. But just looking at who Montezuma's played and. No one's been able to handle Waco.
Waco yet. Waco is, unbiasedly, Waco's the favorite by far. They're a big favorite on Thursday. So not to put too much pressure on the old Warriors. And as I said, Montezuma's got a lot of talent and they throw the ball all over the place. But Waco's looked pretty good so far. So, who else has looked pretty good so far? And
hey,
a little scared.
Let me guess. Sigourney Kyoto?
Oh, good guess. Look at that. You're like 2 for 2 on guesses today. So I was at State Cross Country. We'll talk about after the second commercial break, I think. So I was sitting in the hotel room in Fort Dodge getting ready for day 2 of cross country, and I tried to watch all 4 games at the same time, which Waco kept scoring. I was trying to tweet. Anyway, the game that was the best by far was the game that we knew was going to be the best, Sigourney Kyoto and Mediapolis. And Sigourney Kyoto 20-14 over Mediapolis. In overtime, a thrilling overtime game. Cole Clarahan scored the game-winning touchdown. Sigourney Kyoto had the ball first. I know you watched a little bit of it too. Mediapolis, Anthony Isley. Now, given Mediapolis scored 14 points, Anthony Isley ran for 172 yards and a touchdown.
And I told you that it was going to be the difference in the game. Well, the run games are both stout, and I told you that it was going to be between
no pun intended, stout, because you got a couple stouts on that SK team. And speaking of stout, Sawyer Stout actually passed the ball really well, 112 yards and a touchdown. They don't throw very much.
Yep.
He had a touchdown pass to Clay Morse that tied it up earlier in the game, 70 yards down the sideline open. And honestly, they didn't run for very much. Sigourney Kyoto's bread and butter is the running game. Yards-wise, they were getting killed in the first half, and it was 14-14 thanks to some clutch play from SK. And in the second half, it was more even. It was just a defensive battle, and it ended up after Cole Clarahan scored, I think it was on either second or third down, a rushing touchdown in the first overtime. Mediapolis had it 4th and inside the 5, and went to Isley, their man, and the SK defense just smothered him. And they hadn't been given it to Isley the entire time in that overtime. So it was a great game from the Sigourney Kyoto defense. They lost their first 2 games of the year, have now won 8 in a row, and now they have a long trip, don't they?
Yeah.
Van Meter, number 1 in the state. So that would be the game to get. Last year, Sigourney Kyoto and Waco were both in this exact position. Sigourney Kyoto went on the road to Dike New Hartford, lost, and then Waco lost at home. So I got a little negative there. But it's time for some redemption is what I'm saying. Right. But we were in this exact position last year. But what a game from Sigourney Kyoto. I mean, no matter what happens at Van Meter, the fact they've won 8 in a row after that
mid-prairie loss. And look who they've beaten. Number 1, previously number 1, Pella Christian. What took down number 10, Centerville was number 10.
And this is the first close game they've had in a while. They've been killing teams. And again, Mediapolis is a team that very well could have been, they could very well have been at state this year. They're a very good team. So Sigourney Kyoto wins. That means Waco again, 7 o'clock on Thursday against Martinsdale St. Mary's. No, not Martinsdale St. Mary's. They played them 2 rounds ago. Montezuma. And Waco's, of course, ranked number 2 in the Gazette poll. Sigourney Kyoto at number 1 Van Meter. And if we get any winners out of that, we'll be heading up to Cedar Falls at the Unidome.
The Dome, yeah.
The Dome. Sigourney Kyoto would play on Thursday, I think, if they won. Waco definitely would play on Wednesday because I saw that and I immediately saw that it was the exact same time as Southeast Iowa Sports Talk. So anyway, it's exciting.
Yeah,
it's exciting. We don't make any picks, but
we know those two teams are going to go represent what they do well.
If they could both win, we could have some trips up there.
Yeah,
might as well just get a house. Oh well, Nick, a thumbs up if you got somewhere for us to stay all week. Yeah, so you just gave us a thumbs up because Nick went to UNI. So we'll see about that. But yeah, that's awesome. We have some more football, which we're going to talk to after. This commercial break. It's 2 minutes. Stick with us. We got more football and a bunch of other stuff. So do not touch that dial or that computer mouse.
Federation Bank is a locally owned bank providing award-winning customer service. We believe that we are more than just a federation of banks, but a federation of communities, serving Brighton, Richland, Wellman, and Washington, Iowa. Federation Bank's highly skilled staff is here to make sure you are able to accomplish your personal and professional goals, whatever they may be. Federation Bank, your family bank.
Hospice isn't a place, it's a type of care that focuses on living. Servicing a 7-county area, the Hospice of Washington County staff of nurses, social work, hospice aides, spiritual and grief support, volunteers, music and massage therapists are able to provide free end-of-life care where the patient lives. We write wills, give consent for organ donation, but rarely is there a plan for what we would want the final phase of our lives. At Hospice of Washington County, we encourage our patients to be in charge of their healthcare decisions while maintaining quality of life.
At the Capper Auto Group, we put our customers' needs first and understand that everyone is as different as the vehicle they select. We offer new Ford, Chevrolet, Buick, GMC, Jeep, Chrysler, Dodge, and Ram vehicles in a friendly environment that puts you in the driver's seat. When it comes to service, we maintain factory-trained technicians and competitive pricing. The Capper Auto Group still believes that service after the sale provides the best customer experience. Come see the Capper experience for yourself.
Boom, we're back. I like to count down with Nick. He gives me a little countdown, and I know what I'm supposed to do. So I'm supposed to sit here all professional-like and just kind of have an eye on him, and then I'm supposed to know. But I like to just do the hits. It's fun to do the countdown. I'm not going to do the countdown. So anyway, we had some more football, Hunter. We talked about our two winners. These two teams we're going to talk about had some really tough matchups. Both number 2, right?
Both number 2,
Both number 2. We'll talk about Columbus a little bit first. 41-7, Grundy Center still undefeated. We said they don't give up points, and despite Columbus's prowess, they didn't. So what are your thoughts on how Columbus performed at Grundy Center on Friday?
I mean, it was just this is definitely this is the toughest team that Columbus has to face this season. They're number 2 for a reason. Columbus just could never kind of get their game plan going. Obviously, they like to rush the ball a lot. Kane Amagon did have 128 yards, 25 attempts. So I think that comes out to be like around 5 yards per carry. But I heard Tristan Miller got injured. I think I saw that on Twitter like early in the game. That's a big blow for them. And,
of course.
It just seems like Grundy Center just did what they did, played a complete game. Obviously, they scored 20 in the first quarter, and then 7 in each of the last 3 quarters. So, just all around, just a tough opponent for Columbus there.
There was a time early in the game. Columbus had 2 straight defensive stops where they pushed Grundy Center back, like loss of yards. The broadcast was going crazy. I was listening to the Wildcat cast for that one. Was that the one that I didn't have video on? Either way, and there were 2 long pass plays on third down. I think both that burned him. And then when you run the ball a lot and you they haven't been trailing that much. It's just tough. Grundy Center is such a good defense, but what a season for Columbus, though.
Yeah, one of the best seasons in history in their school program history too.
Yeah, and I've been working here for 8 years. You've been here for just one, but Columbus football hadn't had teams like this in quite a while, and it was so exciting. They're probably our most excited. Like it might have been the team that we were the most excited for. Waco had their rise last year, but Columbus is so exciting. So it's tough to see them go.
But they did it. They showed out all year long. They did. A lot of people doubted them. So they kind of proved in their own way of just how far their programs come and they get a lot of the kids that are playing this year back next year, so it should be another good season next year for the Wildcats over there.
Yeah, of course. I mean, Caden Amagon, he ran for 128 yards. Yep. Despite everything, he's a junior. Trenton Hoback's a junior. They have seniors. Jeff Hoback and Tristan Miller are both seniors. So those are pretty big guys. So always in football, you never know how many chances you're going to get back to this late in the playoffs, but I like their chances of being the favorites, and they'll redistrict, but whatever district they end up in next year, and help continue to run the ball and run the ball well. But it's a little sad after we had our happy.
Yeah, I know, right? So, we got to talk about the.
Yeah, now we're going to talk about Mid Prairie. I'll tell you what. It was 7-7 Mid Prairie at number 2 Williamsburg. It was 7-7 after a quarter. You kind of had a little here we go, we go. What's going to happen? Did Hartley score that first touchdown? No, Kane Brown caught a touchdown pass in the first quarter, and then after that, kind of all went south, didn't it?
Yeah, Williamsburg number 2 pretty much all season long. Obviously, these two teams played earlier in the regular season. I believe it was 57 to, I think 7. So around the same score. Yeah. But the Raiders are just. They're just a different, I guess, a whole different beast,
Yeah, they are.
They've been kind of the favorite all season long, and Mid Prairie hung with them close, but they scored 35 in the second quarter. So it seems like they kind of just got things going, and they scored 7 in the third, 14 in the fourth. It just kind of, I don't know. I didn't see the game, but I think you were kind of watching it.
I watched it, of course. Once it got about halftime, my focus towards Mid Prairie and Columbus started to fade out as the Sigourney-Keota game got more exciting. Even Waco because they were up so much. But, it was 35-point second quarter, so there's really the one quarter where things really went south. They stuck with them throughout besides. But I do have a prediction, though. I'll tell you what. Can I make a prediction on the show?
Yeah, go ahead.
Williamsburg and Grundy Center, I don't remember even who they're playing this week. Mm-hmm. I think they're both going to win. I think that Mid Prairie and Columbus probably lost a state qualifying. Yeah. So we'll find that on Friday. But they looked like overpowering teams for how good Columbus and Mid Prairie are both playing.
Well, and it just seemed like, after that first quarter, they just couldn't get anything kind of rolling on the offense. And just looking at the stats here, and then, Williamsburg and both Grundy Center kind of did what they do best and just, continue to roll. And obviously those two teams are rated number 2 for a reason. So it's not like they're just, hey, well, these guys have nice jerseys or something. We'll just make them number 2.
Yeah, they saw them. Well, you know what? Williamsburg does have a nice field. I don't know if it's turf or not, but it looks like a turf field.
Yeah, it does.
Williamsburg looked pretty fast on that field either way. So that's tough. And you know what? Mid Prairie's, we talked about Mid Prairie's got a lot of seniors. Yep. Brown, Miller, Hartley. Those are the big hitters on offense. Mid Prairie's got a lot of seniors that'll be leaving. We'll be able to enjoy them at other sports here coming up. But we'll see if they can rebuild, and we'll see what Mid Prairie can do. So.
Yeah, they always have a good program, so.
Mid Prairie, we always talk about Mid Prairie and New London. They're always good at everything. No matter what it is, Mid Prairie and New London are going to show up with some good teams of all the teams that we cover. So, a little sad. No more Columbus, no more Mid Prairie. Yep. Just down to 2.
Down to 2.
Then they were 2.
Then there were 2, yep. And that's, we got 2 in everything pretty much.
That's it. Exactly. Then we got 2 in everything. There's no.
The fall season's over.
Fall season's over. Sad. The winter, the snow falls. We got to the basketball courts and all that stuff. But we still got 2 more. And speaking of 2 more, we got 2 more minutes of commercials.
Yeah.
So buckle up. We're going to talk about the state cross country meet, which our area had a very exciting timeout. I was there, and we're going to have a little volleyball and some Iowa Wesleyan sports when we come back. Yep.
Protection is important, especially when you're talking about your dreams, which is why we're going to keep you covered with plans that can save you up to 23% when you bundle your home and auto. That's protection.
Family owned and operated by Andy and Sarah Ross, Ross Auto has been your vehicle repair and maintenance headquarters since 1935. We specialize in all makes of cars and light-duty trucks. With our variety of available services, let us help you keep rolling and your vehicle operating efficiently. Services include general auto repair, alignments, brakes, fuel injection, and more. Schedule your appointment today at 319-653-5656. That's 319-653-5656.
We are back, Southeast Iowa Union Sports Talk. Not Sports Talk live. Just Sports Talk. But we are live, unless you're watching us on replay, which we're not. We're probably doing something totally different right now.
You're probably at Iowa Wesleyan or something. I'm probably.
Yeah, probably.
Who knows what I'm doing?
I could be watching this on like Friday night, you know?
Good point.
You could be watching this a month
We're
from
somewhere.
now. I've getting a little nostalgic about the fall, you know? If you are watching it, you're on Washington Live's YouTube, Washington Live's Facebook, Mount Pleasant Live's Facebook, Fairfield Live's Facebook, or Washington Live Spotify, where you can listen or watch. Or you're on our Twitter at Union Sports page, because not only do we tweet out scores and all that good stuff, but we also tweet out the link to this so you can watch it. Pretty much on Twitter. Technically, you're still watching on YouTube. But Hunter, I was at state cross country, and it was
an exciting time.
It was a long time because it was Friday and Saturday because they split it up for COVID stuff a couple years ago, and it hasn't quite been back. But we got to talk about Danielle Hostetler.
Yep.
The three-time state cross-country champion in 2A. She finished in 18 minutes, 41.64 seconds, 20 seconds ahead of second place. Just a dominant performance from one of our best athletes, period.
Yeah, we've been talking about that all season long in cross-country and her, and just how dominant she's been. And, I mean, what more can you say than, she showed it again. So
yeah, I know. Well, I'll tell you what more you can say. You can say 7 straight for the Hostetler sisters. 1 for Anna, 3 for Marie, and now 3 for Danielle Hostetler. Next year, not to look ahead too much, and we'll talk about the team scores here, but next year, Danielle Hostetler has a chance to become the second girl in Iowa high school history to get 4 straight cross-country championships. You know who came pretty close to 4 straight?
Who's that?
Marie Hostetler, because she had 3 firsts and a second, and guess who Marie lost to when she got second?
Her sister.
Her other sister, Anna. So 7 straight championships. Mind-blowing.
That's got to be a record or something.
Or
right?
Yeah, well, it has to be. And I mean, you know, Mike J was there, of course, talking about it at the award ceremony. Great job for them. As a team, Mid-Prairie came in 5 straight 2A championships. They didn't quite perform as well as they are used to as a team. You know, they lost some pretty good kids last year, but they came in ranked number 2, got 5th. Van Meter won with 111 points. Mid-Prairie 157. So not quite the season, or not quite the race as a team. Abby Fleming got 16th to give them almost 2 in that top 15 that go up on the podium. But it was exciting, though, to have a state champion. We always like that. But as a team, you know, it's kind of, for Mid-Prairie, it's kind of like, it was almost like, you know, Danielle's probably going to win. So that's like a given, you know. And so there was a little sadness afterwards that they didn't win as a team. But we had some other big finishers. AJ Bonison for Danville got 5th in the boys Class 2A race for Danville New London. Danville New London and Mid-Prairie didn't quite perform super well as a team. Team-wise in those races, you know, Danville New London came in ranked pretty high, and both of them were a little bit shaky. Mediapolis actually got 6th in that after Danville New London beat them at conference. But 11th and 13th for the 2A, our 2A boys teams, so not quite what they wanted to row. But AJ Bonson 5th. Washington, the Washington girls got 6th as a team. Their first time up there, the best they've ever done.
Young team there.
Such a young team. And speaking of young, Iris Dahl, it's crazy. At state cross country, you could watch a kid beat another kid all year during the regular season.
Yeah.
Avery Rump got the best of Iris. Avery Rump from Fort Madison got the best of Iris Dahl over and over again this year. You know, they finished 1-2 at everything. The last stretch, Iris passed her for 7th place.
Wow.
I was right there. We got a picture of it in the Southeast Iowa Union. If you get the Monday paper, I got the pass on film. So 7th for her as a freshman.
Crazy.
And Micah Reese got 13th in his junior year. After, I don't remember what he went last year. That's 2 years in a row that Washington's
He's
had
improved a lot.
Yeah, that's 2 years in a row the Washington boys have had someone, because Lance Bosky was on the top 15. They get to go on the balcony at the golf course there in Fort Madison. So they did really well. Pekin girls ran pretty well. Let's see if I can get the final standings on those Pekin girls. They're another pretty young team, and they ended up in, missed it. I'm on boys right now. Live. Andy's not got the right thing. Just making sure I don't lie here. Pekin girls got 9th. Chloe Glosser didn't quite finish in that top 15, but she led them there. So we had a lot. It's almost too much to talk about how many kids we had at state cross country. Ben Carthy from Mount Pleasant, 61st. Yeah.
No, I mean, we said going into it that it was going to be a successful year for the Union area cross country runners, and in the end, we were right.
Yeah, we were right.
We were right, but
speaking of the Pekin girls, Mike J said the stat that they've been at state cross country. I don't want to lie here. I swear I need to look this back up. A lot of years in a row. He said something like 19 or something like that. They've been here 19 times. So Pekin girls, Mid-Prairie girls, Mid-Prairie boys, and lately Danville, New London boys, the 4 teams that we had qualify as teams for cross country, they just keep going back over and over and over and over again. So
the nice thing too, is like probably over 85% of those runners are going to be back.
We have a really young.
If not more than that.
Really young. I didn't even talk about Elena Gorley had a really good race for Danville, New London in the girls race. That's how good everyone did in the 1A girls race. So let me pull up the results here to make sure what Elena finished here. 24th, so that was top 25. She is a freshman. She was actually our best finisher in the 1A girls race, as many Pekin girls as we had. So yeah. Pretty crazy. Daniel Hosteller, 7-time champ, or not Daniel Hosteller. The Hosteller, 7-time champion. Washington cross country is at a peak. It was really cool to see Micah Reese up there, and he kind of took it all in. The fact that you're able to stand above, there are so many people watching you get your plaque, like Danielle got, her flowers and all that stuff, and your medal or whatever. So congratulations to those kids that were able to reach that precipice.
Yeah, congratulations to all our cross country runners that made it, and I mean, I guess all their cross country runners just for doing. That's by kudos to them for running running like that.
If you never made state, you ran that amount of and it's all over until track season.
I couldn't do that.
No, I cheated in I ran a college cross country race one time unattached because my wife was a cross country runner, so I ran the boys race and I cheated. I cut course, but they caught me, so that's okay. Anyway, that's nothing. We're gonna talk about some volleyball. We had one volleyball team left as of last week. It seems like with all the action that it was. When you said that we need to talk about New London volleyball, I was like, that was only 6 days ago.
Yeah.
But New London had a pretty heartbreaking time. So. Tell me how it went. You foreshadowed it because you said when you were in high school they were up 2-0 on Springville and they lost the next 3.
Yep.
Same thing happened.
Yeah, so New London was our final Union area volleyball team left alive, we could say. They drew they got put in the same kind of bracket with the Springville number 1 team in the state pretty much all season long in Class 1A. The environment was electrifying up over there in West Liberty. New London came out probably playing some of the best volleyball they've played all season long. They won the first 2 sets, 29-27, 25-23, and it just in the back. I wasn't going to say anything because I don't want to jinx it, but in the back of my mind, I was just I was thinking back to when I was in high school, and Springville kind of you could see that New London kind of got out of rhythm on the offensive, on kind of setting up their offensive plays, and Springville kind of got their offense together and was making some incredible plays defensively. Natalie Bird and Sophia Malott, they were hitting the crap out of the ball, but it seemed like every single time in those second and third, or in the third and fourth set, Springville was finding a way to save it, and they were finding ways to score, and they win the third and fourth 25-20, 25-21, and then it comes down to the 5th set, and it's now or never, for both teams, and it was tight pretty much the whole way. Springville did pull away a little bit, 6-3 early. Then the rest of the way, 1 point was all that separated them, and they tied at 9-9, 10-10, 11-11, 12-12, 14-14 late. And then Springville was able to get the final 2 back-to-back kills, and they advanced the state. And heartbreak for New London, but I mean, what a performance! The number 1 team in the state. You know, probably majority of people were doubting them. So what more can you say about New London for just how well they played against the number 1 team in the state? And I was talking to Ellie Manning, and she's like, you know, that was just about what it was about. You know, not a lot of people gave them a chance, and she was happy with how they played. So you know, kudos to New London for the performance they put on, even though they you know didn't get the result that they wanted.
And they have some fantastic upperclassmen. You talk about Ellie Manning, one of the best setters that we have. And Natalie Burdenwood, she ended up with 15 or 16 kills in that game, and M&I, of course, one of the best,
one of the top assist leaders in the state.
Years. So they have such a good team. I mean, Springville played last night at the state volleyball tournament. I don't remember who they were playing. They murdered them. And so that's almost more frustrating. It's like you see New London get so close, and the team they got so close to comes up and has just wipes out their first opponent. So can you imagine if Springville does that the rest of the way?
I'd be like, I mean, I guess you can look at it if you're New London, you know, lost to the state champs, but it's like it's always going to hurt. You're that close, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know.
Cameron Lair's another senior, did really well in that match.
They have such good seniors. So and you know, New London volleyball is going to be okay. New London volleyball is always good. So, but I've never had a season where I didn't think that New London volleyball had at least a chance to go to the state tournament. But we're shut out of state volleyball. That kind of stinks. But you know what that means? That means everyone can come to that senior all-star game on Saturday, right? Yeah, everyone who's invited.
Yeah, so we'll just kind of I'll run through this and say who's.
It's at Mediapolis, right?
Yeah, it's Mediapolis on the 5th at 7 p.m. Mediapolis High School. Basically, it's kind of an all-star match. Features
it's like a fun. It's pretty fun.
It's a fun little thing where basically they coaches nominate their players, and they get voted on by all the coaches from the Southeast Conference, Southeast Iowa Super Conference, and it's just basically seniors from teams around the area that have shown outstanding play. And as I said, they're voted on. So New London has 4 that will be playing. Natalie Burden, Cameron Lara, Ellie Manning, M&I. We mentioned them. Winfield also has 4. Brady Buffington, Keely Malone, Melina Epping, Keaton Townsley. Waco has 2, Grace Coble and Ella Kissel. And then lastly, Macy Rayburn will represent Fairfield. And for coaches, also from the Union area, we've got BJ Carter from Van Buren, and then Waco's Jay Coble will also lead those teams, along with, I believe, I can't remember, it's Notre Dame's head coach, I believe. Let me look here. Mike Davis from Notre Dame, and then Kelly Nungstrom from Fort Madison, coach. So Union area represented well in that All-Star game. So
that's a big portion. You know, sometimes you go to those All-Star games, and we have a lot of teams that are eligible for that, but sometimes it's not quite as full of Union area kids. So we talk about how young our cross country runners are. We had a lot of good older volleyball players this year. So disappointed we're not at. Well, we probably wouldn't be doing the show right now because we might be doing some volleyball that's going on right now. So, but yeah. One more thing I want to talk about, Iowa Wesleyan, which I will be headed to here in 3 hours. Iowa Wesleyan's men's and women's soccer team split with Waldorf the other night. Women won 3-0, all 3 goals in the second half. Men lost 1-0, all 1 goal in the second half for Waldorf. Neither of them made the conference tournament. All of the women were 8-8. They were pretty close. They just went out, finished outside. The volleyball team, after I saw them lose to Harris Stowe State, a team that I know from my college experience being in their conference, not that I played volleyball or women's volleyball especially, but they swept Iowa Wesleyan at home earlier this year. Wesleyan volleyball in the last game of the year went down to St. Louis and Harris Stowe territory and beat them in 5 sets. So that was really cool. I thought they didn't make the conference tournament. Only 4 teams make the conference tournament in there. So Iowa Wesleyan fall sports besides football, which by the way we didn't even mention. Iowa Wesleyan 12-6 losers on the football field. So that was a tough one for them. So a little bit of toughness besides women's soccer for Iowa Wesleyan, but a new era has begun as Wesleyan basketball season has started. They both won 1-1 over the weekend. The Jordan Ashton area has started. It is a big game tonight. They're playing. I'll be there. They're playing William Woods University at 5:30. So drop everything you're doing right now and head down to Rubel Arena to watch. William Woods has always had a good basketball program. Fun fact: when I was in college, I went to Hannibal LaGrange. William Woods was one of our rivals, and I came up with the slogan "Chop down the woods." We also played Park University's "Chop down the woods, burn down the park." But so if anyone wants to yell "Chop down the woods" in the Iowa Wesleyan kids,
think about Andy.
It gets in their head. It gets in their head. I promise you. But that'll be really fun tonight.
Then we got one tomorrow night too.
And then tomorrow night, Grandview comes to Iowa Wesleyan, and I have to see Brady Sartorius, the former Mount Pleasant superstar, plays for Grandview. We'll see if he's happy and healthy, and he's playing tomorrow night. Yeah. I haven't got word on that yet, so I should have probably done more research. So probably exactly what I'm going to do after this show. So anyway, it's going to be fun. Iowa Wesleyan teams are at least exciting. I know they're going to be good this year, and that place is going to be rocking. And we got women's and men's wrestling coming up pretty soon. Obviously
national champion in women's wrestling and
Iowa Wesleyan, Rubel Arena at Iowa Wesleyan is going to pop off in the next few months. That's what I'm saying. So exciting stuff ahead. That'll be kind of what fills the gap a little bit in the high school when God forbid our football teams get knocked out or just win state championships in a couple of weeks. And So anyway, that's all we got. You got anything else? Did you have fun on Halloween? Did you dress up?
Yeah, I was. I live in New London, so I wore this. Samantha has like this witch's hat, and I didn't have like an actual costume, so I just grabbed like a robe.
Nice.
I had this white robe around me, and I wore a witch's hat. I was handing out candy, all the kids walking by, and it was great.
Perfect.
Or someone was yelling, "Hey, it's a good witch!" I was like,
it's a good witch."
I just have this white robe on, just walking around. I looked like a goober, but hey,
that's all right.
It was fun.
Supposed to. I had a stained glass window shirt that looks like a church shirt. I've worn it at the office sometimes, and I had some these football sweatpants that my wife hates. So I was Sunday because church in the morning, football at night. So my kid judged me, and my 4-year-old the night before Halloween was like, "What are you going to be tomorrow, Daddy?" And I thought, I didn't think that you expected me to be anything. She was Elsa. She was great. And my baby was a cow. Saw a lot of cows. So There you go. Anyway, so happy Halloween, everyone. Yeah. Should we have wore our Halloween outfits? I
should have.
Next year. Next year, if you remember, email on the show, tweet us, and we'll.
Whenever we have we gotta seal that right now. Whenever there's a holiday, if we're having a show before or after, whatever's close, like the week, we gotta wear whatever.
Should we like
Christmas come in here? We both look like Santa or something.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Awesome. Let's think about it. Oh, let's make a turkey for Thanksgiving and just be eating the whole time.
Right up here.
What do you think about it, Nick? A thumbs up or thumbs down? Thumbs up or thumbs down, Nick, if you dressed up for Halloween. Thumbs down. Honestly, this is the first time I've dressed up in a while, and I've realized that since my kid is the age to expect me to dress up, now I'm going to have to start doing it every year again. I'm kind of excited about it.
Yeah.
And I get to try it again.
I liked it. Yeah. I got made fun of a little bit, but by my friends.
Right. By the bad witches? Oh, your friends, a.k.a. the bad witches?
You can say bad witches.
Yeah, bad witches. Anyway, now we're rambling about everything, but happy Halloween.
Yep.
Everybody got to those football games and the basketball games coming up, and we'll meet here next week. We'll try and tweet out an update on what's happening with next week's show. If Waco wins tomorrow night, we don't know. So we don't know. I can't blame us. We don't know.
Right.
Southeast Iowa Union Sports Talk. This is Andy Kretzinger,
Hunter Moeller,
and Nick Steffens. We will see you maybe next week.